Greetings from the Omziel Healing Sanctuary. And here we're providing you bite-sized information from people just like me and you to help you on your daily journey. Today I have a good friend, Denzel. He brings lots of value to the table. So Denzel, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, Omar, my name is Denzel Hill, and I'm living in Savannah now, but I've been all over the place being a military kid. I was actually born in the Netherlands, and my parents currently live in Maryland. And I'm an athletic kid. Really came from always doing something athletically, and I'll say that's where a lot of my challenges came up in my life. It wasn't with just the home stuff. It was always on the field, teaching me something about life, or always something athletically that was teaching me something about life. And that's what ultimately led me here to Omziel, like my whole path through athletics. So
that's good. Well, we all have different challenges coming up, and yeah, how were some of yours? How rough was it? Growing up in the household and the streets. The streets are always there too.
Well, I touched on athletics again because the story was like with me and my brothers, like you're gonna play sports year round because it's gonna keep you out the streets, and lo and behold, you're caught up in trying to be the best you could be, practicing all the time. And yeah, that happens, and that eventually grew into me becoming a college athlete at Columbia University, playing football, a receiver and cornerback. But all through that, I can remember now, after recovering from an Achilles injury, that I was injured a large portion of my career. Like I always had some type of chronic ailment or some type of knee pain or some weird diagnosis from the doctor that I gotta take antibiotics for, or I gotta use BioFreeze. I'm like 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old. Wow. And I was always just like dumbfounded by it because my brother, on the other hand, he wouldn't be getting hurt like I was. And so like me venturing into my food, like we're gonna touch on that later, Omar, but like my food has become such a pivotal point in how I live my life now. Me being like an architect, a designer, I call myself a visionary because I'm here to ultimately show people what type of lifestyles that they can live. Architecture sticks to me because it's the built environment. It's what you're living in. It's what you come home to, and it essentially feeds your soul. When your room's clean, bed's made in the morning. Those are things that really start your day off right. And so that's me ultimately. It's that structure. It's that ability to move past the adversities that I've built all through my life. Being a military, and then like going through the sports, man, like year after year after year of hip flexor pull, ankle roll. I remember I had this knee pain where like my knee would lock up on me. I had this heel pain when I first started playing football. Got over that. I fell on my butt one time. My tailbone was like done for like the rest of the season. I'm like, yo, like why does this keep happening? All the way up to college, multiple shoulder surgeries, some weird cartilage injuries and Achilles injury that really just shifted my whole consciousness back to, okay, going on inside. There's something's not right. It's not, we call it God, like handing me down, like retribution or whatever. Nah, I'm doing something wrong. So what's going on,
That's interesting. So you mentioned architect and some of these choices that you've made or have been pressed upon you, So how do you bring that into your daily life? How do you seam it into and make the relationship and connection to some of the choices that you're making now?
Like I said, I'm really sensitive to my environment. I know when I'm off because my room would be all messy and I have stuff all over the place. And you wake up enough times to dishes not being clean. It's like, all right, I can do better than this. It's all about your environment because it's literally playing off like what's going on internally. Like that's how I really take value in like not only my environment, but like the things that I consume, such as my different food, different media now. We talk about music, how that's changed, and like the use of the 808, what that does to the chakras. And like, I'm learning all this, like at the college. I'm like, yo, wow. So I see how I used to harness that energy, like football, like listening to that Future, listening to that Drake or whatever, Juicy J, like really like energy. I'm sensitive to energies. That's what I'm saying. Like how a room could be dirty and you could tell like the energy off of it. So that's how architecture really is. It's being able to fill space, create the condition for that space to flourish and to persist.
I've also learned that your outward environment is really just a reflection of your inner mind.
Yo.
Yeah. So recently you've attended the Windhorse Rising Men's Retreat, and you were actually the chef. You cooked us some amazing meals, and I see this passion coming from you, and you mentioned this a little earlier. So yeah, can you please touch on that a bit, how you see yourself transitioning or melding that into some of the things that you're doing now?
Yeah. Now that I think about it, what is really what's driving all of this? It's driving. I put it like this, and it's something that people can go research for themselves. Like, but the literally the neuroplasticity in your brain, it works off of just, basically a spark, an electric spark. When we eat food with water in it, those water molecules and all the little things that we can't even measure, the phytochemicals, that creates that spark in our body, all of our cells, and those are reactive. And so I learned that how dehydrated, like my processed food was that I was eating, throughout my college days. I wasn't really aware of like the quality of things that I had to eat, but I was always the type to eat good food or eat good. I'm always eating because, I like to be fed, but I will remember how I put things together and, make meals out of like a bag of chips, a TV dinner plus something else. And then you cook a little something else for the TV dinner to go on top of that. So I was always eating, never open it out the box and do something with it. Open it out the box and enjoy it. I want to open it and do something with it. And so like it becomes my creation. Like I used to watch Food Network all the time, and I'm finding that with my consciousness, got the ability to really observe people in their crafts and kind of take in all the little components and all the processes and say, okay, where am I at with this? And food is literally just colors and flavors and texture. That's all it is. That's all it is. Color, texture, flavor. Because of course I was able to use the same ingredient for multiple meals, and they didn't taste the same, and I surprised myself with that, being able to provide that variation off the top like that. And then just the guys receiving it and really me receiving compliments of how good the food was, how nourishing it was, how grounding it was, even the fruit that we were eating, it's cut intentionally, cut in certain ways so that the mouth can like caress the fruit. And that's what eating is. Eating is ultimately like that's everything for us. That's nourishment. That's like the next thing, the intimacy. Really think about it, nourishing yourself with good food.
That's right.
So that's what I do for myself, and I was able to do for you guys with good planning and leadership.
We appreciate all that. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to be able to get some of this information to share with people on how you made some transitions and you've taken the confidence enough to step up to show something that you've created for people to not only like to look at like art or smell as in, aromatherapy, but actually consume it also, That was fascinating. Thank you so much again. How about some of the biggest, one or two of the biggest takeaways that you've received from the Windhorse?
Right. So I came in a Windhorse literally on the mind frame of, okay, I got to provide service, got to cook for 6 guys. I knew that I would be participating in like all of our talks, our fire talks, our emotional releases, our yogas and this and that, our breath works, the ice baths, but I had no clue how powerful it would be. I had no clue. I had no clue. I mean, it was the first night we had the fire circle. We really, introduced ourselves and had 3 guiding questions, and really setting the energy like that, and then moving through our emotions through breath work and learn how the body and the mind can really have things just like calcified, just spiritually, like you have on you that you don't even realize that you got to cleanse from. And so having the ability to do that through all those modalities, it was borderline, it was amazing, not even borderline amazing. It just blew my mind because I took ice baths for football. Those ice baths that we go through, you set the energy like that, We do the breath before. They call it breath work because it's work.
Mm-hmm.
It sends off things in your brain, like everybody's hearing it, but you have to do the work to really experience this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was just,
That sounds like you've received many takeaways.
Bliss, bliss it comes from a lot. It comes from a lot of good things that knocked around and were able to clear themselves during all of that. Just learning the power of community and like transparency and the understanding like everybody here is here for one common goal, is to better thyself, and so that they can be better for the reflections, So, and it was amazing hearing everybody's stories, and they all had a common thread. Everybody's like story like a spider web, it was like not straight line, but kind of connected, very connected, very, very, very.
It did connect well. It really did. How about some of the resources? Have you received any resources, either from Windhorse or anything, in your life that has helped you to continue and to maintain, the confident man that you are?
Yeah. I mentioned the community. I want to double down on that because it's nothing like growing alongside somebody that's really there for you, but not only that, there for themselves and really are pushing you like, yo, you can do this, and that much more simpler. And it'll just exponentially grow. So us being able to meet on Zoom once a week and check in and see, okay, how y'all doing? Y'all writing stuff down? Are you finishing what you're writing down? That really makes you look at yourself like, you're gonna execute, or you just gonna, it gives you the answers to this thing, like,
Yep.
That's one major tool. And like more specifically us sharing audio books so that through our days we're able to sharpen our subconscious mind with the proper, I call it ear food. You have nourishing food like that you receive through the TV, through your screens, the many screens that we have nowadays. And it's just powerful how much stuff you just don't know until you meet a group of guys and it's like, yo, I know this and I got this resource from that, and oh, that's almost like him, but no, he has an even wider premise on it. So those two right there, and they kind of match up, but that's the work. That's the work that we're doing like now that we're out.
Yep. It's good. It's real work, bro. It's not make-believe stuff, and it's priceless. Like, money really, at the end of the day, is a tool that you should use and respect. But some of these things that you receive, man, you can't even put a price on it. They're so deep and profound, and they move us so deeply, And speaking of which, perhaps you can mention 1 or 2 people who have been a huge influence on you as you've grown up, and why?
That's easily mom and dad. I mean, they were there pretty much every game. They are the that got me from high school to college, filmed the games, talked to the recruiting coaches, emailed them as if they were me, all of that, all the way up to going towards the professional world. You really got to see like the true professional world. And like, that's a whole nother story in itself. But like mom and dad, the whole 365 plus one,
Right. And
that I was very thankful of. And I had that was a major takeaway, just from Windhorse, just understanding my story and how my traumas are almost flipped on its head versus other people's, like not to get too personal, but it's just amazing how hearing other people's perceptions will make you sharpen what you got in your life, really appreciate it. So, I mean, hands down, mom, dad, if I had to mention a third person, it'd be mom, and my brother. Mom, like mom is always there. She's always provided for me. Everything that I need, so it's taught me about as a male, you really have to have that divine feminine figure, I like to call it, that you're working beside, and it's not always going to be. Y'all not always gonna have the same ideas, but when y'all are able to understand each other's perspectives and create something genuine, it'll really create something like myself. And that's what I see my mom and my dad still being married amidst, just the culture of divorce and all that. Like, that's not my world at all. I just give thanks to them because I know it's not easy to get on each other's nerves, but go through.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's so important, the family structure. My wife, she comes from a very strong family structured background, and that's one of the things that attracted me, because when you come from a broken family, you tend to levitate toward families that have a more solid cohesiveness to it. But thank you so much. I appreciate your time, as you can imagine, and I appreciate anybody who's listening to this. Thank you for taking in the information. But before we go, before you tell them where they could find you, perhaps you can tell us, how is it that you're using all of this information, and to bring it back into your life?
Right. Write it down. Ultimately, you write it down. You create check boxes. You color code it every day. It's just you. That's your roadmap. Have something for yourself so that you can see how you're doing, because it's not always gonna feel like you're hitting your stride, but it's those little details day by day that add up into, something major. Like, that's why professional athletes are professionals. Every day they're doing something small. They're working on that same jump shot. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan did. And so when I think about that, I'm like, oh wait, I'm gonna just channel what I did with football into this.
Right.
That determination that, I'm gonna go to the studio, go to a football game, then go back to the studio, then go to morning lift, then go to sleep. I could do this, I could do the hard stuff. I can do the wake up at 6:00 and start your day with making your bed. Maybe get you 10 minutes of meditation and then get on the yoga mat. Before you even do anything, that's like 30 minutes. It's nothing. So just realizing where you've been and where you want to go, and knowing that you got everything you need. You got to do the work. And that's how, it's really being accountable for stuff.
That's great. That's beautiful. Yeah, it makes me think of the book, The Compound Effect. I have that one also to share. It's great. Just the little things that we do, the increments, it makes a huge difference. So before we go, please tell us where people can find you.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Mr._Sun, and Under One Sun is my creative consulting brand that's catered around encouraging everybody to find what they do, what they create, and express it. And that's what I'll be teaching on underonesun.net, and partnering with different creatives to create that environment. That's me, Denzel.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Much blessings. And I'll see you soon.
Yes. Peace.